Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something pretty wild in the software engineering world. We're going to look at how Java, a language that has literally been around for decades, somehow still maintains an absolute stranglehold on enterprise software. I mean, it hasn't just been sitting there collecting dust, right? It has survived and honestly thrived by constantly ripping out and upgrading its deepest internal systems and its day-to-day syntax. So let's just jump right in and see how this old-school giant evolved into the absolute enterprise titan of 2026.
Now, to really grasp why Java is so unkillable, we have to rewind to its original design philosophy. Its creator, James Gosling, famously called it C++ without the guns, knives, and clubs. And what he meant by that is memory safety. Right out of the gate, Java was built to save developers from the absolute nightmare of manual memory allocation and all those fatal system crashes that come with it. That core, unbreakable promise of stability is exactly why the corporate world just fell in love with it in the first place.
And the payoff for that safety-first approach? It's just staggering. Based on Azul's 2025 State of Java survey, 99%, yes, 99% of surveyed enterprises are still actively running Java today. We're talking about the backbone of banking cores, insurance claims, and trillions of dollars in daily financial transactions. That 99% isn't just forgotten legacy code sitting in a basement. It's active, massive-scale deployment.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering Java in 2026, fixing garbage collection, the Java 25 upgrade, Java versus Python, and finally, the hybrid future.
Starting off with Section 1, Java in 2026, the Enterprise Anchor.
Okay, so Java is dominating corporate infrastructure, but there's a really weird paradox happening right now. Just consider the TOBE index from April 2026. Python is absolutely running away with the developer popularity contest, sitting at nearly 21%, while Java is hovering way down around 8%. It's literally the widest gap we've ever seen. But here's the catch. 70% of actual real-world enterprise applications are still running on the JVM. It's wild, right? Python totally owns the developer mindshare, but Java still owns the deployment footprint.
Moving on to Section 2, fixing garbage collection under the hood.
To keep that massive deployment footprint running smoothly, engineers are basically treating Java like a Formula One engine. They are ripping it apart and fixing its deepest bottlenecks, starting with garbage collection. Now, you probably know this is the automatic memory management that cleans up unused objects so your system doesn't crash. But here's the thing. While those modern state-of-the-art concurrent collectors like C4 and ZGC are great at keeping pause times low, recent research shows they've actually become shockingly expensive when it comes to burning CPU cycles in memory.
So we're seeing a massive shift in the actual computer science of how Java handles memory. The old way, using tracing and evacuating, means physically copying live objects to new memory spots to avoid fragmentation. But that constant copying needs all these expensive read and write barriers, which really drags down performance. Enter LXR. This stands for Latency Critical Mix with Reference Counting. Instead of moving objects around all the time, it uses this ultra-fast parallel reference counting system. It cleans up memory without all the copying, which saves a massive amount of CPU and bandwidth. It's honestly a brilliant workaround.
And the real-world impact of this academic shift? It's huge. When they tested this on the Lucene search engine, which is everywhere, by the way, in a really tight memory environment, LXR completely flipped the script. Compared to Shenandoah, LXR pushes almost 8 times better throughput. But the craziest part? It reduces that extreme 99.99% tail latency by a factor of 10. By just stripping out the overhead of copying, Java suddenly runs incredibly faster and smoother at scale.
All right, Section 3, the Java 25 upgrade and modernizing syntax.
So we've seen the engine. Now let's check out the shiny new chassis. Over the last decade, Java has been ruthlessly cutting down its infamous boilerplate code. I mean, think back to Java 8 in 2014. You had to write this massive, complex class structure just to print Hello World. It was exhausting. Then Java 21 hits in 2023, giving us stable virtual threads and a huge boost in async performance. And now, welcome to Java 25 in 2026. We finally have compact source files and instance main methods. You can literally write minimal script-like programs without any of that heavy legacy class baggage. It makes prototyping or just writing a quick utility script so much faster.
But it's not just about looking cleaner on the screen. Java 25 brings some serious, heavy-hitting quality-of-life updates. We've got flexible constructor bodies, which means you can safely run validation checks before the constructor even fires. Module import declarations finally clean up all that import noise at the top of your files. Scoped values are standard now, giving us way safer context sharing for virtual threads compared to the clunky old thread local approach. Add in primitive types and pattern matching and a native key derivation function API for top-tier security, and it's just a completely different, highly refined developer experience.
Which brings us to Section 4, Java versus Python, the 2026 CTO Guide.
So how does this newly upgraded Java machine actually stack up against its biggest rival in the real world? Look, if we're doing a head-to-head, Python is absolutely the undisputed king of agility. If you're spinning up a greenfield project, doing data engineering, or anything with AI, Python wins, for sure. The code is usually 3 to 5 times shorter than Java doing the exact same thing. Plus, Python instances sip memory, running around 80 to 120 megabytes, while Java is still a bit of a memory hog at 300 to 500 megabytes. And obviously, Python's AI ecosystem is just miles ahead of everyone else.
But, and this is a big but, when you push a system to its absolute extreme limits, the whole story flips. When it comes to mission-critical, heavy transactional systems, Java just flexes its raw power. Take a simple REST API. Java running Spring Boot can easily crank out 60,000 requests per second per core. Python? It taps out at about 22,000. So if you're building high-frequency trading platforms, banking cores, or telecom billing where a 50 millisecond delay is a total disaster, Java easily doubles Python's capacity, no question.
And that leads us to Section 5, the hybrid future and the pragmatic enterprise.
This takes us to the big picture, macro architectural level. If you're a CTO right now in 2026, you're not playing games trying to pick just one language to do everything. The reality is, it's not Java or Python. It is Java and Python. The best tech companies out there, Netflix, Spotify, Airbnb, they're incredibly pragmatic about this. They use polyglot architectures. They rely on Java for the ultra-fast, latency-sensitive transactional backbone, and they use Python for all their AI pipelines and data analytics. They just build clean bridges between the two and let each language do exactly what it does best.
So I'll leave you with this ultimate question to chew on. Is your tech stack optimizing for synthetic benchmarks, or are you architecting for the messy realities of an actual enterprise? It all comes down to matching the right tool to the right job. Python gives you that unmatched agility and AI power, but Java brings the raw scale, throughput, and decades of rock-solid stability. Definitely something to think about before you design your next massive platform. Thanks so much for tuning in to The Explainer, and keep building!